And tails.
Yes, Wally Gator's tails.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think about this COVID-19 world we live in?
Well, it's the kind of thing that everybody has to be concerned.
Yeah.
You know, it's all over the whole world, so
Yeah.
it's affecting everybody in different ways.
So, like some of your trucking buddies that you know, you'd like to go for their coffee in the morning and do this and that, and they can't do that. Restaurants, even Tim Hortons.
Well, yeah, nobody can do anything.
It's closed.
Yeah.
Like, you can make the drive-through if you want,
Yeah.
but they don't want people gathering.
Right.
So they can do like you. What do? You play Angry Birds?
Well, I play Angry Birds, crime case more than anything.
Criminal case, yeah.
Criminal case and
You got your word
Scrabble.
searches there
yeah,
to get
Scrabble
your
game.
eyes off the computer, right?
Yeah.
A little book with a highlighter pen.
Yeah.
Oh, I brought you more highlighters too. Talk on the phone,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Just drink
whenever.
a coffee. Tell your friend, call him up, say, "Hey, go drink a coffee in your house," and then you just have coffee that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When anybody phones, you just chat for a little while.
Yeah.
That way, catch up on what they're doing and what they're not doing and what they hate doing and
Yeah.
how it's affecting them.
Yeah. I never thought I'd see actual no school from
Yeah.
before Easter. Like, little kids are just getting passed
Yeah.
to the next grade. And grade 12s have to take their, their important exam.
Yeah.
But that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the olden days where the woman stayed home with the kids and that. Like, everybody's working. And now daycare is closed.
Yeah.
Everything closed. So you just gotta roll with it.
Yeah. That's
But-
true. You gotta go with what you have.
Yeah, that's enough of the
Yeah.
caca in the world. This is questions about you.
About me.
About you.
Hey.
So, where did your parents grow up?
Where did they grow up?
Yeah,
Well, as far as I know, in the Ukraine.
yeah, in Litoviska,
Yeah.
like near Lviv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a place that they talked about.
Yeah,
Because myself, I could only gather when I was a kid when they had their friends over about places where I can remember that they talked about.
where, like what places?
Well, like
Oh,
Litoviska.
Litoviska. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I'm still trying to figure out that Polish passport mystery. But some other lady that had written this big long story of her family was the same thing. Like, that was the only way you could get a passport.
Yeah.
And it was like take it or leave it kind of deal. So, yeah. What special memories do you have of your parents or grandparents? Because I know you were really close to,
my grandma.
to Baba Moshilski's mom, right?
Yeah.
So Figura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she came and lived with you guys in Wildwood.
Yeah.
Well, she lived with you everywhere. She
Right.
didn't live on her own.
Well,
yeah.
she pretty much babysat me all along when I was little.
Yeah.
So I have like splash memories from even when I was like 2 years old. There was one there that I stood on a chair that I remember, but I can't remember how old I was. I was very young.
Yeah.
And she was always around me, even when I was growing up. And Mom and Dad went to camp and stuff like that. I was helping her with whatever chores she had to do because I was old enough already to do work and
So
stuff.
what do you mean Baba and you went to camp? To logging camp?
Yeah, well, we had a small logging camp.
Oh, so they just went for the day and then they came back at night. Oh, they went.
They were gone all summer or all winter, depending on when the camp season was.
Where was this place? Or you don't know because you were little.
Well, there was camps that we had in west of Whitecourt, south of Whitecourt, west of Edson,
Yeah.
and even the small mill that we had close to our place around Wildwood.
So that's not babysitting. She raised you when they were
Yeah.
at camp. And Auntie Anne was like probably 12 or 13.
Well,
So she just probably made sure they went to school, or was that negative back then? That was like bad to go to school? It's like, why are you going to school? Stay home and help me?
Well, not really. The girls
that's
went
good.
to school, but I think they only went as far as grade 8.
Yeah.
I don't really remember Anne when she left home, but I know Kay went to grade 8 because there was one year she went to school with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the same school. Oh, nice. So, like, with some memories of your Baba, and I know you're standing on the chair, you remember that, but like, is there something like in your nose or your tummy when you think of your Baba? Like something she always made kind of because she knew it made you happy?
Well, she, being babysat, of course, there was different times, right, and different ages.
Yeah.
So, she was really, really a patient person with me, because kids growing up, they're not exactly the angels.
Yeah. You wouldn't know, you didn't have your own bedroom, right? So it's probably like
Well,
just...
I don't think I had my own bedroom. I don't think I ever had my own bedroom until I left home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we always, even in the farmhouse, the Basil and I shared a room.
Yeah.
And depending, sometimes, Mitch he was already older. So,
What, and so that's your earliest childhood memories, probably is like even to 2 years old, like standing on a chair. And
well, that I was probably even younger than 2.
I don't know how you can
But,
remember that. Oh my goodness.
When I was 2 or 3, there was a time when we were grazing cattle on the road allowance,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Grandma and myself. And then when it was time to come home, there was a culvert on the road, a fresh one with fresh dirt and everything. And for some reason, I was afraid to cross that.
Okay.
So she would pick me up and
Carry
carry me across.
Aw.
Yeah.
So then, as you got a bit older, like some of your favorite interests or hobbies, or like a sport, or I don't think musical instrument too much because that was pretty expensive,
Yeah,
right?
musical instruments. I did have harmonicas, but I never really learned to play anything.
Yeah, because you
Decent.
had to have money. That was
Yeah.
expensive. But the stuff that was free, because you can whistle like a songbird.
Well,
You
I
used
used
to.
to be good, yeah.
Yes.
But hunting and fishing was usually my main
So who
hobbies kind of thing.
taught you that, or you just went
Well,
wild like a jungle
Well,
boy?
yeah, you're living on a farm, so there's bush around and everything. So,
Yeah.
You and your dog, you grab your gun and you go hunting. And,
Oh, you had a gun. I was gonna say slingshot or what?
When I was 14, I had 4 guns.
Holy
I had
smokes!
2 shotguns and 2 22s and a pistol.
This like farm, like they weren't yours.
No, they were mine.
They were yours.
Yeah.
How'd you get guns?
Well, I bought them.
From catalog?
No.
Oh.
Bought them from neighbors or friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, picked beer bottles and nailed cold doors for spending money. So.
And who sold a 14-year-old ammunition back then?
But that time you could buy it easy. You would just go to the store and buy it.
Ask for like 5 cents of licorice and 10 cents of bullets?
No, you just go. I want a box of bullets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then. And so what chores did you have to do growing up?
Oh, chores. Well, it was every Saturday I had to clean the chicken coop, the pig pen, and the barn. I cleaned when I was 16 already. I cleaned the chicken coop and the pig pen, and quite often Grandma helped me clean the barn.
Oh. And were they all basically horrible, or like which one
Oh,
did?
I smelled like a rose when I went to school.
Like which one did? Oh, you did that before school, I guess.
Well,
yeah. Oh, but
Well,
everybody probably smelled.
Even if you did it on Saturday,
Yeah.
like you didn't have much clothes, so you just wore what you
The
had.
same thing you wore.
Yeah.
And what about like, well, when you're a teenager, it's different, I think. But like for bathing back then, it was probably one bath for all the kids, right? Like taking turns.
Well, there wasn't that many kids. I mean, it was just yourself. So
And Basil.
like when you were little, there was 5 years difference between us. So
Yeah.
I can't remember if we washed in the same tub after, like the same water.
But you had like a bathroom or no?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Washed in the tub
In the house.
in the house.
Yeah. Oh.
Or the basin kind of thing. There was no
So you probably hated winter with a passion and look forward to summer where you could go and jump in a lake.
Go in the rain.
Yeah, go in the rain or jump in a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was there any chore that you were like proud to do that kind of like was only for no?
It was work.
It was awful.
Everything was work.
So, like speaking of work, what was your first job that wasn't for Gitu?
Oh.
Like a job where,
Yeah.
well, maybe the guy didn't give a paycheck officially, but you know, it was a job. He expected you to turn up at a certain time. And
Well, it was nailing coal doors. I was 9 years old.
nailing what?
Coal doors?
What's that?
They're like doors, 8 by 24 doors
Yeah.
that you nail together like 1 by 6s or 1 by 8s to make 24 inches, and they would use these doors for put in boxcars to when they filled coal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they called them coal doors.
So the guy literally had a business just making these doors. Oh wow! In Wildwood.
Yeah, so he hired a bunch of us kids to do this.
Yeah. So do you remember any funny stories of your co-workers? If it was a bunch of kids with nails and
it was
hammers doing
It was probably at this one place, at least 4 of us that I knew for sure.
Yeah. All boys?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I did that until I was probably 16.
Oh, wow. And do you remember kind of like for, I don't know if it was a whole day's work because you went to school, but like what kind of pay do you think you
Well,
got?
on my first Saturday that I worked, it was a full day, and it was in the winter.
Yeah,
I made $3.
for a full day.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. Or was it no? No?
$30 for a full day.
Well, what's a full day like? 8 hours, 10 hours?
Well, all the daylight hours that there were.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was in the winter, so you had to make a fire to heat the nails.
Oh.
It was cold.
Fire to heat the nails. I never thought of that. Why?
Well, the nails would be cold. It's steel.
Oh,
And you have to hold
for
them in
touching
hand.
them. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, I see. Oh. And then so for truck driving, which you did pretty much all your life, how did you decide on that for a career, if
Well,
you remember?
We always had well, my brother pretty much had a truck all the time.
Uncle Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this one day family was going to Jasper, and I seen guys working on a Sunday
Mm-hmm.
on the highway, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool, working on Sunday and you're getting paid for it. 'Cause
Oh.
that was supposed to be a religious holiday sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I thought that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Oh.
And I liked the truck driving and that, so, well, I loved it really.
So back then on Sundays, like, unless you were a truck driver hauling stuff, you weren't supposed to work, and stores were
Nobody
closed.
really was supposed to work on Sundays in those days.
Oh, and stores were closed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. If you could have had any different career, what would it be? Like Fantasyland.
I don't-
I got my own guess on that, but you say your
Yeah.
answer.
I don't know if it would have worked out or not, but when I was 18, there was an ad in the paper that Air Canada was looking for people. So I filled out the application,
Yeah.
and I was quite surprised because they came back and they said they were sending a man from Ontario
Mm-hmm.
to interview people that had made applications.
Yeah.
And I was accepted for one of the interviews.
Oh, really?
But right at that time, there was forest fires. And the forest ranger wouldn't believe me that I needed this particular day for this interview.
Right.
And so he wouldn't let me go, so I missed the interview.
Oh. Because, well, just that jogged my memory. I thought you wanted to be RCMP, but they
Well,
had
that
height
was, that
and
was,
weight regulations.
yeah, that was one thought.
But that wasn't going to be my guess. Because this is like, if you could have any career, what would you have done? And it would have been something with Air Canada, really?
Well, I don't know for sure because the interview didn't go through, but there was an interest. You know, that
Yeah.
was one of the things when you're looking for work, you,
Because I would have guessed, based on your grown-up hobbies and interests, treasure hunter.
treasure hunter. Well, that, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that,
Traveling and digging and mining and
Yeah.
climbing and discovering and
Yeah, I don't know if that would have been my main source because of the freedom that I could see that you could have driving.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. And that's actually one of the best things now. A lot of, like, for people working with this COVID-19 is the long haul drivers, because they're basically quarantined all the time. They're like, their little truck is their off. They're pretty safe, and they still get to, you know, bring the important stuff that people need. And then well, I guess it could be travel, but like, do you recall your favorite vacation?
My favorite vacation.
Yeah. So not really like a vacation. Vacation to me is more like being a bit pampered and stuff.
Yeah.
Because some of your adventures aren't very pampering. They're just like real life living.
Yeah, they're adventures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, gee.
Because you've been to Hawaii 3 times,
Yeah.
right? You've been to Mexico once.
Yeah, Costa Rica 22 times.
times. And it would have been more if you didn't try to bring that taser or whatever happened there.
Well,
They
that
grounded you a
happened
little while.
that happened in the States.
Oh,
Well,
that
I
was in
was-
the States.
I couldn't go anywhere like that when I was married too.
Oh,
Because that
okay.
limited the vacations
Yeah.
at that time. But the Hawaii vacations were pretty neat because like you guys could come with us.
Yeah. Except the one where I got chicken pox in Hawaii.
Well, that was I don't know how it was for you, but it really didn't bother us that much. You know, I mean.
It was pretty awful, but I
Yeah.
still liked the scenery. But you can imagine having chicken
Yeah.
pox and having to stay covered so people
Well,
don't
yeah,
see
I know.
that, and it's hot and itchy and all kinds of things. But yeah, it was still very beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember anything like really crazy for like practical jokes or anything like that, or even work related? Something.
I wasn't really much into practical jokes because I didn't think I'd like to have some of these things done
Done
me
to
that other
you,
people
yeah, yeah.
did. You know, I didn't want to hurt anybody, so
Yeah. Well, when you were older, maybe when you were a kid, you didn't think that far ahead.
Uh,
But so, like, what's the most trouble you ever got in at school?
well, playing hooky.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a pretty victimless crime, though. That's
Yeah.
not making trouble on anyone else. That's just
Yeah.
not educating yourself. Who was your favorite teacher, or if there was a favorite, who was
Well,
the one you hated the
Yeah,
most?
actually, there was 2. One was
Oh.
Mr. March when I was in grade 9, and Mr. Zoar when I was in grade 12.
Okay. And what were they? Did they have like topics back then, or they were just your teacher of everything?
Well, they had some topics. Mr. Zoar, he was French, but he taught English also.
Okay.
And I used to write my stuff in comical ways all the time, and he loved it. So
Yeah.
he read a lot of my stories to the class.
So you liked your creative writing.
Yeah,
Yeah. And who was the other guy?
Mr. Martz.
Oh,
But
what
he
did
was not really that much older, but he was our principal in grade 9 in Wildwood, and he was really fair as far as looking at how some of the kids were and how they reacted with
Yeah.
different things. And I don't know, he for some reason he took a liking to me, and we got along really well.
Well, you liked phys ed in school, or they didn't
Yeah.
have phys
Oh yeah, we
ed?
had phys ed.
Oh, they did. Yeah. Oh, because you liked running, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everything.
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I liked football, baseball, and everything.
Oh. And then when you got older, what about your first car
Oh,
or motors,
first
whatever
car.
your first motorized vehicle was?
Well, my first motorized vehicle was a 1960 Pontiac,
Yeah.
but I didn't get that until it was, I don't know if it was brand new or not,
And that was in
because I was
Wildwood?
22 years old
Oh.
and the car was a 60, so
So you were 22 when you got your first car. So that wasn't in Wildwood, that was in Edmonton.
no, it was in Wildwood.
Oh, in Wildwood. Okay. Because I thought you left Wildwood
Oh, wait a minute.
but then you came
yeah,
back.
it was
In Edmonton?
in Edmonton.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah, but I went back to Wildwood for a short time because I was all over the place there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then back when you were younger, do you remember at home on the farm having a favorite toy or something that was just yours? No.
No.
Hello, sorry, I'm just checking for supplies.
Oh yeah. No favorite toys.
Few.
No, thank you.
So what was even a way to get toys? Or you seriously don't remember any toys?
I made my own toys when I was smaller, so
You had a
I got it
favorite
from wood and
stick?
stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
More or less, yeah.
Oh my god.
Wooden blocks.
Oh
Made
boy.
nails, drove nails through. You cut like saplings for wheels.
Yeah.
Drive a nail through them and nail them to a block of wood and use them as trucks.
Well, but when you got older, I thought you did something with mail order catalogs, or that wasn't for buying. That was just for making money.
That was for spending money. I would send for Valentine's or jewelry, costume jewelry.
Yeah.
Going around selling that to people.
Oh, okay. So then, what did you use your pocket money for? Do you think, if you remember, sweets or?
Well, there wasn't an awful lot of money coming in, so I would use it for, well, movies or, because Dad really wasn't that generous with money for,
Yeah.
so I pretty much just spent it for, I had some stamp collections and some coin collections that I
Okay.
had to buy a little bit of stuff for, so
Yeah.
I would spend it on that.
So when you're a young guy in Wildwood and you had money for movies, where on earth would you go to the movies?
Well, after, they had a hall
In Wildwood.
in Wildwood,
Oh.
and then after a while they even had a theater where there was movies every day for a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, or every night I should say.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. And then so from all these almost 80 years of adventures and experiences and whatever, is there any, like, just advice to a guy on the street you can think of?
A guy on the street.
Yeah. Like how you like to, if you're able to, how you like to buy anonymous lunch for people at least once a month and stuff like that.
That part already was like with my work guys and that, and whenever it felt the occasion, once a month I'd buy people either a meal or coffee or whatever the occasion was at the time.
Yeah.
So from about 1985, I think it was, once a month I'd buy wherever I was, somebody a meal.
Yeah. But you were doing that before it was popular, because now people pay it forward all the time, like at the Timmy's drive-through. Like you order something and you pull up, and sometimes they'll say, "Oh no, the guy that was just left, he paid for your stuff." It's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing this in 1985.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a coffee, like behind me or whatever. It was whenever I was in a restaurant and I would see somebody that maybe was down a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd pay for their table.
Oh, nice. And is there any kind of wisdom you can summarize from your 4 agreements or anything like that, or even in your own words?
Right to the very end, just do the best you can.
Do the best you can. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What do you think of